Hi guys, my name is Megan and today I've got my July wrap up for you. Alright, so today we're talking all about the things that I read in July, which happened to be quite a bit, so let's go ahead and just dive right in. And by quite a bit, I mean I read an entire series. So first up we have Rogue. This was one of my favorite books of the month. This is the second book in the Jericho's Boys series. This is following Levi and Shiloh, and they were so cute together. I really love this. It's a dark romance series, so I would definitely check trigger warnings before diving into the series. But this was so good. This got 5 out of 5 stars, and it's a series I would highly recommend. Just, check trigger warnings. Next up, I read the first 3 books in the Give Me More Omegaverse series. So first up I read Teams Omega. This one is really sweet and a lot shorter than I was expecting. I really wish there was a little bit more character development in this, but it got 3.5 out of 5 stars. Next up I read Neighbors Omega. This is the second book in the Give Me More series. This was a little bit more what I was expecting from a series by this author. This was really sweet, and this one did have a bit more character development if it was a little shorter than I would have liked. This one got 4 out of 5 stars. Next up was Executives Omega. This is the third book in the Give Me More series. This one, some of the dialogue felt a little bit flat, but again, I really liked this series anyway, so this one got 3.5 out of 5 stars. Then I took a little bit of a break from the Give Me More series and finished the Fake Divination Offense. This is the second book in the Magic and Romance series. This was so much fun. I don't know why people aren't liking this book, because I loved this. Auric is such an anxious person, and that just really was something that I really liked about him. And I loved Alexo or Belle. He was just the sweetest, and this had just the right amount of melodramatic drama in it. And I really enjoyed this. This is a sports romance set against an urban fantasy D&D inspired world, and I loved this to pieces. This got 4 out of 5 stars. Would highly recommend this series. It's so good, especially if you really like a found family, characters bound by trauma or trauma bonded, and just really sweet romances mixed with magic. This is the one to go for. Next up I finished Drive the Net. This is the first book in the Delay of Game series. This was a really sweet, fun hockey romance. It's following Ryan, who is a veteran hockey player, and it's also following Jackson, who had one season with a different team and then got traded to Ryan's team. And he's kind of a rookie, but also kind of not. He's been playing in the AHL and the NHL, switching back and forth a little bit for his season. And Ryan, being an older player, having a house and, some extra bedrooms, he lets Jackson stay with him for the duration of his first year of hockey. And they hit things off so well, being friends, having a really great friendship develop before romantic feelings start happening. And from the way that I read this, Jackson comes off as either demisexual or demi-romantic. It wasn't super clear in the writing, but it's definitely demisexual, and it was really, really sweet that these two built such a good friendship before diving into the romantic side of things. This is really sweet. This got 4 out of 5 stars, and I'm really excited to dive into more of this series. Okay, and then we're back to the Gimme More series. So next up I read Roommates Alpha. This is the 4th book in the Gimme More series. So if I didn't mention it, this is a poly Omegaverse romance series, so each book is a poly romance. This was one of my favorites out of the series. This got 4 out of 5 stars. It was really, really sweet, and it was kind of nice to see a different perspective in this series. And then the last Gimme More book was Gamers Omega. This was my favorite book out of the series. This was the longest book in the series at 245 pages or so. This had really great character development. It had the poly romance starting out as a friendship that developed into a lot more. It also revolved around board games and gaming in general, and it was really, really sweet and definitely my favorite out of the series. This got 4.5 out of 5 stars, and overall, I really enjoyed this series, and it's one that I would recommend if you're looking for an Omegaverse to get you, or an Omegaverse book series to get started in Omegaverse. This is an author I would definitely check out. Next up I finished Mr. Villain's Day Off Volume 4. This was, I keep saying it, but most books I've read this month are really sweet. This is following Mr. Villain, and these little short stories of him making new friends, hanging out with the friends that he's already made, and we also get to see him interacting with the superheroes on his day off, and when they're not being superheroes and the villain. So it's really sweet. We also got to see a new character that I hope will be popping up, which is a little robot cat. So this was a really sweet read. This one got 4 out of 5 stars, and it's a series I would highly recommend if you're looking for something that's just really relaxing and sweet, and just having a character protecting his time off as being time off and not working. And then we're on to the books that I'm currently reading as of filming this video. The first of which is Ruthless Titan. This is such a good book. This is following Ryan and Connor. Connor is the captain of the hockey team for the North Shore Titans, and he is very ruthless and like doesn't take no for an answer. It's also following Ryan, who is one of Connor's teammates, and he's very timid and shy and just wants people to leave him alone and let him play hockey and let him get his degree. So Connor is having some issues with his very wealthy family who are overbearing and controlling and want Connor to get married to the daughter of another CEO to merge their companies. Connor's not having that. He goes and grabs Ryan and forces him at gunpoint to get married, and that's where we have our story unfold. It's them realizing that they like each other, but also like trying to get away from Connor's kind of abusive family, but also like dealing with Ryan's trauma from a childhood car accident, and like it's mind-boggling and unhinged in the best ways. And this is another dark romance, and it's one that I would highly recommend checking trigger warnings before diving in. And I'm only about 55% of the way through, but this is already heading for 5 stars. And it's a series I would highly recommend, but again, check trigger warnings. The other book that I'm currently reading as of filming this video is XOXO. This is another college sports romance. This one's between Lark, who is a dancer on a scholarship at a really prestigious private college, and it's also following Henry, who is a football player and the quarterback for the prestigious college, and he comes from a very wealthy family. And these two both had childhood cancer, and they knew each other from that, and they bonded over that when they were both in hospital being treated, and they lost touch, after their treatment was finished, and they meet back up in college, and Henry's parents want to keep his childhood cancer diagnosis under wraps, and like they have to pretend that they never met. So it's really fun seeing them reconnecting and falling maybe in love and like really liking each other and dealing with the consequences of Henry's family hiding his diagnosis, but also like trying to figure out ways to say, oh, we knew each other as kids, to their friends. And it's really interesting. I'm probably about 60% of the way through this one, and it's really, really good so far. I am planning to read one more manga before the month is over, before this video gets posted probably, and that is Dysfunctional Family Theory. This is following 2 guys who both dated the same girl, and neither of them knew that this girl had a child, and then this girl passes away unexpectedly, leaving the child with her grandparents, and the grandparents want the 2 guys to live together with the child, and then after a year the child will pick who she wants to be her parent, because they're not allowed to get a DNA test. And this just sounds really fun, and the 2 guys I think are gonna fall in love, so yeah, this just looks really interesting and like a really fun read. So that's everything that I read this month. My favorite book was definitely Rogue and Ruthless Titan and the Fake Divination Offense. All 3 of those books were fantastic and ones that I would highly recommend. But yeah, what did you guys read this month? Did you have a favorite book? Let me know down below. If you guys like this video, don't forget the like button. If you haven't already but would like to, go and hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to follow me on social media for more bookish stuff, check out the links down below. Alrighty, bye guys!